This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 train. The next stop is Wall Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Not Your Advisor with NYU Grad on Monday, November 4th. Hope you all had a great weekend. So just a bit of housekeeping. I did send out an email, but the migration to a new URL is complete. It's official. You can now find the Substack at notyouradvisor.com. I repeat, notyouradvisor.com. So tell all your friends and family. It's easier to remember. I've also submitted it to all of the search engines for SEO. So this should boost new community members, both free and paid, in the coming weeks ahead. I'm excited for that. Obviously, today is the day before elections here in the U.S. The volume was quite light, but I do have a lot to cover today. But let's start from the top. I'll walk through breadth and kind of peel the onion like I typically do, but let's jump into it. Breadth was fairly muted today. We had 146 new highs versus 56 new lows. 53% of stocks were advancing today versus 44% declining on the NYSE. 57% of stocks were below their 50-day moving average, and 40% of stocks were below their 200-day moving average. The indices closed at near the lows of the session today, which is not a good look, to be quite honest with you. The Dow closed down 262 points. The S&P closed down 14.7, which is about 0.25%. The NASDAQ 100 was down 65 points or 0.33%. The Russell 2000 was positive, up 9.8 points on the session. Taking a quick look at sector analysis, energy led the way to the upside, up 1.3%. Then it was real estate up 0.94%, basic materials up 0.35%, consumer defensive up 0.22%. The rest were all red, leading to the downside. You had communication services down 0.8%, utilities down 0.75%, financials down 0.64%, healthcare down 0.5%, consumer cyclical down 0.34%, tech down 0.25%. So that's kind of the top level narrative of the market today. But I want to continue down this path here. So before I forget, I also want to just remind folks that there is a Bloomberg tracker, which I find pretty good. It seems pretty partisan. It's only data, right? It's supposed to be partisan, but I'll link the Bloomberg election tracker in the show notes. And did you know that George Washington, the first president of the United States, was not inaugurated in Washington, D.C.? Did you know that? He was inaugurated a few blocks from me on Wall Street. So I'll post a picture that I took with my own camera a few weeks ago of the statue on exact location of where he got inaugurated on April 30th, 1789. So if you did not know that, now you know. Let's see what else stood out to me today. NVIDIA did most of the work, most of the heavy lifting. It was up the most. It was pretty much the only green of the Mag 7 on the session. So taking a quick look at the headline numbers, you had Microsoft down 0.4, Apple down 0.38, Amazon down 1.08. These are all percents. Tesla down 2.4, Google down 1.1, Meta down 1.1, and NVIDIA up 0.54%. But keep in mind, like around 1-ish, 2-ish, NVIDIA was up 2% on the session. So it lost quite a bit of steam going into the close, as with everything else. And why this is important is NVIDIA is 3% weight of the S&P and 7% of the NASDAQ 100. But when you have the other Mag 7 or the Mag 6 all red, and shares like Apple are 7% of the S&P, Microsoft is also 7% of the S&P, Amazon's 3.5% of the S&P. So it was a pretty bad sell-off today on low volume. I think people are just anxious for what's going to happen in the next 48 hours. Speaking of anxiousness, in the nuclear power AI news, a lot of the companies were hit on news that U.S. regulators are going to or have rejected the Amazon Talon deal to power Amazon's AI efforts. And in continuation of that news, Centrus Energy, ticker symbol LEU, shares were off by more than 20% today after the company announced a stock offering of $350 million in convertible senior notes. So it was a bond offering, not a stock offering, sorry. So that was in the headlines today for the nuclear AI stuff. I want to keep going here. Let's cover what was up and what was down in the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. If you're new to the Substack and the podcast, I do this in rapid fire, both to the upside and the downside, is all in percentages, okay? So in the S&P 500, to the upside, Mosaic up 5.8%, First Solar 4.9%, Enphase 4.1%, Sherman-Williams going into the Dow 4.19%, EQT 4.2%, the AES Corp 3.7%, eBay 3.5%, Tapestry 3.1%, Constellation Brands 3.1%, Monster Beverage 3%, ExxonMobil 3.1%, Cadence Design 3%, Albemarle 3.05%, Deckers 2.7%, Revity 2.6%, CF Industry Holdings 2.6%, DaVita Healthcare 2.5%, Devon 2.7%, Charter 2.7%, Diamondback Energy 2.5%. To the upside on the NASDAQ, Illumina up 3.2%, Charter Communications 2.6%, Datadog 2.3%, Micron up 2.5%. What was weak to the downside? On the S&P, you had Constellation Energy down 11.7%. Public Services Enterprise Group down 7.2%. United Airlines, after being up for a few sessions, is down 3.5%. Zodis Incorporated 3.48%. Amentum Holdings down 3.3%, Lowe's down 3.3%, Vistra Energy 3.2%, Chipotle Mexican Grill 3.1%, Cardinal Health 3.05%, Franklin Resources 2.8%, Erie Indemnity down 2.8%, Intel 2.8%, Dominion Energy 2.7%, Entergy 2.56%, Corning 2.4%, Comcast 2.3%, Berkshire Hathaway, been in the news going all cash, 2.25%. Dow Chemicals coming out of the Dow Jones, down 2.2%. Humana 2.2%. In the NASDAQ, you had Intel down 2.8%. Intel is coming out of the Dow. Team down 2.43%. Tesla 2.2%. Starbucks 1.7%. Marriott 1.7%. So I am going to cover maybe 23 charts with premium members, so stick around. Free members continue to watch the Mag 7, Breath, as well as economic indicators. For the next 48 hours, to be quite honest with you, it's going to be all about the U.S. election. Will it be contested? Will it be a clean election, meaning that whoever wins, wins? Or is this going to drag on for weeks and months into 2025? Which, if it does, I suspect Wall Street will not be happy about that. So I really don't know what else to say. If you're an American citizen, get out there and vote. It is your vote. Don't let anyone else persuade you. Don't listen to endorsements of celebrities, of newspapers, of media organizations, and who they've endorsed. Do your own homework. Don't let your friends and family peer pressure you either. It's your vote. Vote for who you feel will do the best job. I'll see you all after the Tuesday session. Premium members, please stay on. As I noted, we have about 23 charts to go through today. That's my train.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.